Hello, and welcome to Miranda Made. Let's sew a little darling's dress. The weather has been wintry with lots of snow this year, so I went out and took a few shots with my old 1980s Minolta camera. That was really fun. There's so many wonderful things to learn and do. I wish I had more time. But anyway, let's go to the sewing room. So I want to make this little darling's dress from, I think it's 1982 or 83. I'll put the correct year on the screen. I thought it was really cute when I found it on Etsy, and unfortunately it's not a complete pattern. It is missing some of the quilt pieces. Whoever made this apparently only made the quilt. So I'm going to actually be sewing the clothing for my daughter. So this video, we're just going to be making what they call the slip, because I don't have a lot of time to actually do all of it at once. But I do want to make the dress part too, and that will be hopefully next month. If I can get it all filmed and made in 1 month and uploaded, that would be amazing. Yeah. So I ended up sewing the medium size. Originally I was going to sew the large, but I've tried to calculate her weight gain, or what that will be, which is a little dangerous because you never know. But hopefully she'll be able to wear this either the spring or the summer. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the instructions here. Or not the instructions. Let's go ahead and cut all of the pattern pieces apart, and I need to press them, and I need to wash this fabric, press the fabric before I can really do much. So that's a big part of it. But you know, I'm gonna try to just enjoy it and do it little by little whenever I can, whenever my husband's home to take care of the baby, basically. And when I don't have to feed her or do everything else. I really love these fabrics. One with cherries, one with polka dots. I bought it specifically for this, and there's a lot of the polka dot pattern for a dress for myself later on. So I've got it washed, and here I'm just ironing it, getting everything kind of ready to go here. Everything's a mess in the background, as you can see, because, well, I have a baby. I got the pattern pieces all cut out. Now we can look at the instructions. And the first thing we're going to do is work on the yoke and the yoke facing, which I've done before on a previous baby dress, so this part's not too hard. And it turned out really, really nice. So here are my pieces. I've got the fronts, the backs, and also the facing pieces. So you know, double the cutout basically. But my brain is a little bit foggy. So I kind of have to really think like, oh, what do I do exactly? You know, after you have a baby, you get baby brain. So I'm gonna just unpin everything here and go ahead and put the fronts to the backs so that I can stitch the shoulder seams together. And of course, marking it with my water-soluble pen so that I can remember what everything is and where everything goes. As you can see, I'm starting out the wrong way, and then, oh yeah, I have to put right sides together. Baby brain is real. It is real. Hard to think. But you don't feel like yourself if you don't keep doing what you did, at least somewhat, before you had a baby, I think. I think it helps combating any, you know, kind of postpartum depression by having something that's all yours, that you do, that brings you joy, even if you don't have very much time for it. So I matched all the notches, and I've pinned it, and I like to put a pin in the middle too to make sure it doesn't slide around. And we're ready to go and stitch this at the machine, but of course I'm going to do the facing and the yoke part at the same time. There's no reason not to. I'm just gonna check my seam width here, because I need 5/8 of the seam. I could do it on the machine, but I like the little ruler. Okay, now that that's done, we can go ahead and work on the facing here. And we're just doing the exact same thing again. Now we can put it together. So of course you need to press it, both the facing and the yoke. Press those seams apart and just press the whole thing again, really, so you can pin stuff together. Yay. Okay, let's go ahead and stitch around the neckline. We're gonna stitch basically anywhere that is not gonna be attaching to the skirt portion, because this just basically has a skirt and the skirt pieces and then the yoke pieces, right? And that makes up the slip, which actually is a really easy design to do, and you could replicate it. You can make this dress in many different fabric designs. It's not that hard, and it is sleeveless, so it's nice for the summer. It's supposed to go underneath the main dress, but as a slip, but I think you could definitely wear it as a summer dress too. If I wanted it to be a true slip, probably thinner fabric would have been better to have selected, but I thought this was really pretty and I wanted it to be something sturdy too. All right, so we're just gonna cut the seams, and then we've got to clip around all the curves, right? In order to make sure that it folds, or you're gonna reverse this, so make sure it lays nice and smooth around those curves, around those curves. Oh, my brain. A little out of frame here, sorry about that. But I'm just doing the same thing. I'm just really clipping the curves. Now, actually, I clipped it a little far apart, so I do go back and clip between these two notches because I realized that's too far apart. And this is what it looks like when I've got it all clipped and I'm ready to reverse it. Or turn it inside out, not reverse it, turn it inside out. Very beautiful, yay. Okay, so I did use this ruler to kind of help me get the corners nice and pointy. And then of course, I'm gonna just press it again. And trying to avoid my water-soluble ink, just in case. Like, oh, I thought, what if I make it permanent by adding heat accidentally? So tried to avoid those markings. I do have a steam function on my iron, but for whatever reason, I just do it the way my mom taught me, with the spray bottle. It's just more comfortable doing it that way. That's how I learned to iron years ago. I really should invest in a better iron. But anyway, here it is. The yoke turned out very, very well. I love the design of it, how you can stitch it so that you can just turn it inside out and you have a nice look. Not every yoke is stitched in this way. I think this is the best one. I think the previous one was slightly different, but I think this is much better. And we have to have a play break, you know, because even though I have a baby, these two cats are also babies that I have. They need a lot of attention and they sometimes demand it. So I had to stop here and play with Himong. Himong means hope in Korean. And she's adjusted pretty well to the baby. She doesn't really care too much about her, honestly. She just wants to be with mother. All right, back to work. Now we're gonna move on to the skirt portion and making a continuous lap, which was a little hard. I'm not 100% sure I did it right. I probably would benefit from stopping and learning exactly how you're supposed to do it, because I just followed the instructions, but I could have made a mistake. It looks okay, but you know, professional training would be good at some point. So here actually they have you do a French seams for the skirt portion, which I really appreciate and like. They don't call it French seams, but they are. You stitch them wrong sides together, you know, trim the seam, and then flip it and stitch it on with right sides together. But they don't call it French seam. That's exactly how they explain you to stitch the seams, which makes all of the seam finishes nice, and you do not need a serger for this project at all. I appreciated that because I don't have a serger. So I didn't have to finish any seams on my own. The pattern included how to finish those seams, either using French seams or by simply inserting a raw edge into a finished seam, if that makes sense. The way you insert the skirt into the yoke and stitch it together, anyway. Or by creating continuous lap. So there's like a covering for this opening portion where you're going to put the buttons. And then also the armholes had their own fabric that you cut and finished the seam with. So this is really nice. Okay, so we're moving on to the side seams and the armhole. So I'm just going to stitch this. We're going to put the armhole together with this edging here. And unfortunately I didn't film a lot of that because, well, I didn't. And then we're going to add some lace trim to the bottom of the skirt. So the first thing they have you do is zigzag stitch it, and then you fold it over, you iron it, and you stitch it again, which was really easy and great to do. And this is my first time actually learning how to do that. So I think this is a great pattern to learn from too, because they give you some really great instructions that are clear and easy to follow and learn from. And then you gather all the edges to attach the yoke to the skirt. I did not actually follow the instructions for this and do it the correct way. I should have, but I just inserted it and then stitched it. Well, I'm not a professional. This is my hobby, but I probably should have done it the correct way. Maybe next time. Anyway, it looks too small because this mannequin is too large for it's not a baby mannequin, that's why. It's more of a small child, maybe a toddler. So, but it is the correct size. This is what it looks like. Okay, the last thing I have to do is make the buttonholes and sew on the buttons, which actually went really smoothly for me. I finally figured out how to use this machine well to do that. And the markings, of course, helped me put it in the right place. So this is the finished look. We've got the front, the back. Of course, it doesn't fit this mannequin, so you know, it looks a little different, but it is correct. And then I just hung it on her little clothes rack. Oh, can't wait for her to wear it. Thank you so much for watching. Join me next time to see the dress portion, which is even more elaborate than this. See you next time. Bye.